This woman writes,
Ooh.
"The discourse is BS. Shut the heck up." A thread. And indeed, she's made a 7-part thread here that's now collected over 500,000 views in the initial tweet.
That's a lot.
And it's now going kind of viral in gaming circles. And
what does it say? Nobody is coming to save you.
And it's now going...
No incels are going to band together to create an immaculately gate-kept industry for you. The existential dread you grapple with has everything to do with the fact that you weren't loved enough and that most people find... That's actually not true. The incels have banded together. They're on r/Asmongold. I don't know what she means. Yeah, this has already happened.
Kind of viral.
What do you
gaming
mean?
Circles. And in her thread, she comes off extremely angry, very unhappy with gamers for having the audacity to criticize corrupt corporations in the gaming industry. She seems to really want to defend those corpos. She also attempts to defend DEI consultation companies.
Right.
And spoiler alert, her claims are very easily disproven. So she's taken an extremely unwise position here. We'll get to all that stuff. It should be a fun one. First, a little bit more context on who this even is. With 22,000 followers, she's on Twitch and YouTube, and in her bio says she's UX R&D and game and media production by day, a lore keeper by night. Providing additional information in her pinned tweet, she says, "Hey new folks, I'm Ray. I work in the gaming industry in UX R&D plus game production. I worked on various software and hardware for Xbox. I now work as an independent media producer and had the privilege of working on the Dota Internationals 2023 and other gaming media projects."
Yeah.
Okay, with that context, let's return to her angry thread and see what all she has to say. She begins with part 1 saying, "DEI consultation companies don't bully studios into changing creative direction. They act as resources to help creatives portray a lived experience. The Northman is an example of this." Okay, so first of all...
I'm sure sometimes that's true, but I'm sure sometimes it's not true. I feel like that's really what it's about. Like, sure, sometimes that makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, I mean, anybody could expect that sometimes it makes sense.
When people are talking about DEI consultation companies, they're often talking about that in reference to video games.
Yeah.
Which in her next thread, she also talks about video games. So it's odd that her example of DEI consultation companies not bullying studios is a movie. But whatever. Okay, just kind of funny. Allow me to address the main point, which is her claim that DEI consultation companies don't bully studios into changing creative direction. Yeah, so Ray is absolutely incorrect here. There is on-air evidence of, for example, Kim Belair of Sweet Baby Inc. advocating for creatives to essentially extort, to threaten others at their workplace into putting part of the budget towards consultation firms.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
She has essentially...
That's crazy how they just say that. Like, that seems like you shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I mean, ooh, that's not so good, huh? Man. She said it with a smile, too? That's because people like this think they're untouchable because they're part of a group that can't be criticized. That's the reason why. They think they can say and do whatever they want because they have some kind of unique privilege. And anytime that people isn't that racketeering? It is. It basically is. So what happens is that they have there's like a whole culture around this. There's a reward structure around this. And like it's built like this, where if you don't do what they want, they then take what you're doing and then they misconstrue it into you being a bad person. Right? Because like there's an entire like industry and like apparatus that's built around necessitating this type of consultancy and this type of inclusion. And you see this happen whenever people go off of the beaten path and they go off script, like, you know, Stellar Blade, Black Myth Wukong, and they don't follow these different paradigms, then they get in trouble. Yep. And that's what happens. And so like the apparatus isn't created just by those DEI companies. It's also created by like journalism, and it's created by publishers as well. And like they all act as like a pipeline to make this happen. The mafia is less subtle. That's true.
Made this same speech multiple times. I'll play another example of this. In this one, she also does this thing where she's like, haha, it's just a joke though, but not really. Seriously, you should do this.
Have a coffee with marketing so that you can absolutely terrify them by telling them, here's what's going to happen if you don't do this. And
see, like, you look at like what this says. It says womanize. Like, this is, what the fuck do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Like, this is crazy. People trying to push their agenda, push their identity onto something. Amazing.
I say that sometimes, like, as a joke. I say talk to marketing and scare them, but consider honestly the possibility that, like, those people have to sit and deal with everyone who's going to come at them if this is a mistake. They have a...
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you shouldn't listen to people like her, is because there's a lot of people that don't like this kind of stuff, and the more that they speak out, the less people listen to her. And that's what's happening now, is you see that more and more people are seeing this happen, and they're like, well, actually, I really don't like this. And now you see companies that are taking these people off of their branding. They're not using them. It's because these guys, they thought that the companies were on their side. I think this is a huge problem, is that, you know, like this, like DEI, like sweet baby shit. Like, they thought that the companies were operating to help them, right? That there was like a shared ideology. The company only cares about money. And if you can trick the company into thinking that doing what you want will make them make money, then they'll do what you want. But never forget that one thing causes the other. It's not like there's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? No, the money is the reason why they're doing it.
Vested interest in reducing harm and of keeping the sentiment around your project positive. And there's a genuine value of inclusion
Ubisoft
there.
right there. Yeah,
that's not just ethical, it's monetary. And that makes it, for a lot of people in marketing, like I was once, a genuine, valid discussion to have very, very early. And sometimes that's actually where you can find your consulting budget.
It's pretty gross how these people openly gaslight others, whether it's other people in general,
they gaslight
or their
the companies.
Trying
That's
to say
what they
that
do.
It's harmful and unethical to not use consultation firms.
Yeah.
Isn't that convenient? Hey, if you don't use our company, if you don't pay us, you're unethical and harmful. Her claims that there's a monetary benefit.
That's exactly what they do. Is that they try to create, and this is how it happens, right? Is that they create an apparatus that necessitates their existence. And the way that happens is that the people that are involved with them are also involved with journalism. So when they're not included in the creative process, then journalists cause problems for the companies for not doing that. And you saw that with, for example, like Black Myth Wukong. I think that's probably the best recent example. Then publishers are worried about bringing on those companies because now there's a bunch of negative press about them. And so you create a feedback loop that makes the company seem like it's bad, and it's a completely, like, it's totally fake. Like, there's no actual, like, real, like, this isn't actually happening. It's just fake. And what are the chances a big corporate is going to incorporate DEI into a competitor to lower their stock price? Well, I don't know about that. If you don't hire our services, then you're gay. Well, it's I think it's the opposite, number one. But number two, here's the problem, is that what they do is they go and they basically, like with the journalism, I think that's the worst part about it. I think the journalism and the way that it's like covered in media is way worse. And then content creators make money off engagement farming to rage bait? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And the media, yeah, and again, like, they could not exist without the media creating a necessity for them to exist in. It's all part of an ecosystem.
Are also highly questionable, and that's me putting it lightly. There's been so many examples of DEI-related games lately. For example, Concord, Dustborn, SSK the JL, Tales of Kenzera Zhao, that have been absolute financial disasters.
Yep.
Back to Ray's thread, there's part 2 where she says, games are not falling apart due to some conspiracy. They're falling apart due to insanely high interest rates and poor investment decisions. We're also in a recession. So what exactly is she calling a conspiracy theory? The implication seems to be that she's saying that
if games were failing because we were in a recession and because of high interest rates, that would affect all games. But it seems like only games like Concord and Assassin's Creed Shadows and games like Dustborn, for example, are being affected. So if this was a economic-wide problem, it would affect all games, but it's not. I mean, this is basic scientific method. Like, there's a control group. The control group isn't having this happen, which means that this cause isn't the reason why the change is happening. How can anybody not think like this?
Companies are not harming games in any way. That's just a conspiracy theory, in which it certainly isn't. That said, sure, they're not like solely responsible for a lot of these games' failures, but they're definitely a factor. She also said that gaming companies are falling apart due to insanely high interest rates. And her evidence backing those claims up are an image of Wikipedia where they talk about gaming industry layoffs, and a second image that talks about tech company layoffs. So
has it ever occurred to you that the layoffs are happening as an outcome of these bad games being released and not making money? Because Capcom is hiring new people. So is From Software. They just announced that they're raising salaries. So how is this like an industry? Yeah, what is this? How is this happening?
And she's essentially wrong on this because it's debatable whether high interest rates or low interest rates can be more negatively impactful to the gaming industry. But the argument for high interest rates being an issue for the gaming industry is that investment firms may seek alternative investments that are less risky. And when it comes to layoffs, the evidence that she seems to be using, the argument
is happening with all tech companies, not video game companies. Yeah, it's happening with everything.
More so that low interest rates can actually cause more video game layoffs because they potentially lead to more mergers and acquisitions, which can then lead to more redundancy and then cause layoffs. So this woman's arguments are all over the place. She really does not seem to know what she's talking about here. Oh, and she did include a third image, which is this one.
Games industry leaders brace for up to 2 years of pain. Oh my God. The only thing that's surprising to me about this is they say that it's only going to be 2 years. I think it's going to be a lot more.
This does nothing to help her at all. Now, to be fair, she also said poor investment decisions by the gaming companies.
Well, like, has it ever occurred to you that those poor investment decisions are things like Concord that are informed by criteria that don't reflect gamers, like DEI? Like, it's crazy how people can talk directly past the problem that's staring them right in the face. It's like the poor investment decision is that game. That was the poor investment decision. It's like you're right, but you're right in a complete way. Like, you're proving yourself wrong.
It's true.
They're gaslighting
they're
themselves,
definitely doing that. By the way, paying for DI consultation is a part of those poor investment decisions.
Exactly,
Finally,
yes.
Things like recession and inflation are also going to be factors. Now, moving on, it looks like she's given up attempting to use evidence for her claims, which, while that wasn't
smart.
going well for her, at least
that's a smart idea. Never use evidence, because then people can say that you're wrong.
Was something. The rest of her thread just devolves into insults. So yeah, very angry person here. The good news is reading this is going to be really entertaining, at least in my opinion. So let's see what she's seething about next. 4. Nobody is coming to save you. No incels are going to band together to create an immaculately gate-kept industry for you. The existential dread you grapple with has everything to do with the fact you weren't loved enough and that most people find you insufferable.
This is my favorite thing about this is like the kind of people that say this are the ones that have like 17,000 tweets and their account is 2 years old. Like they're making like 500 tweets a day or something like that. They're on Twitter all day, typing, talking, terminally online. Yeah, what are you doing?
5. No matter how much muscle mass you grind out at the gym, people will still find you obnoxious and repulsive because you never learned how to listen to other folks' lived experiences.
I mean, is she talking about her ex-boyfriend? I mean, did she have like a bad experience with like an ex-boyfriend that was like rude to her and he went to the gym and so now she's like making a Twitter? You're right, guys. It could also be your dad.
Dude, she's completely lost it, man. She's just so mad now.
Oh, man.
6. The idea of freedom and independence has been sold to you so that you don't feel any internal responsibility to care for or feel interconnected to others within your community.
So freedom and independence is bad. Okay. All right. Got it. She deserved it. Yeah, she thinks she's smart. That's how it is.
3. Amended. Stop giving yourself psychosis. We are in an incredibly fragile state, because not all of us have mental health care. But stop frickin' lurking conspiracy theory boards when you don't have support.
Let's see if this person has... Did it show her profile account? Where are we at? We're at 709. Okay, to be fair... She doesn't have a mental disorder listed in her bio. Usually they have mental disorders in their bio.
Theory boards when you don't have support. Oh, and 7. Indies are gonna carry us for a while.
That's true.
Shout out to amazing powerhouse indie game devs who
yeah, but why are they? Why is that happening? It's because they're not adopting this type of ideology. That's why the indie games are very popular. It's one of the reasons.
I love y'all. Okay, well, yeah, indie devs are awesome, but my gosh, dude, what is wrong with this person? I love how she also demonizes working out and simultaneously acts like she cares about mental health. There's been numerous studies that link the benefits of
it's like, yeah, you care about mental health, and then you're going to call people that disagree with you that they're unloved and nobody will ever care about them. It's just the typical, like, you want to talk about, like, toxic masculinity. This is, like, toxic, like, femininity, right? This is the pinnacle toxic female. Like, can you imagine what would happen if you were in a relationship with a person like that and something didn't go the way they wanted? Can you imagine, like, going out to dinner and they didn't get what they want? Can you imagine how unpleasant that drive back to the house would be? Oh, my God. Like, think about that. Literally my life. Exactly, right? Stop, please. Hey, bro, I'm being serious. There are very many like that. I know. I know.
Out to not just physical health, but also mental health. There's also some irony with that because a lot of people at the gym, not everyone, sure, but a lot of people there tend to be super nice. Way nicer than she's acting. Anyways, that about does it for this segment. Let me know what you think about her her thread in the comments. It's so hilarious that she only lasted 2 posts of providing evidence or attempting to. Then she just went full rage mode. And yeah, I'm repeating myself now, but my gosh, that was funny.
I'll pull it up and see it myself.
Please also consider liking and or subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.
Let me see what this is here. I'll link you guys the video, and I want to see this myself. So what's her Twitter account name again? What do you guys think the odds are? You guys think I'm blocked by her? IX Genuine. Let's see if I'm blocked. By some miracle, I am not blocked. So, Pearl clutching about right now, but they also donated to the Trans Empowerment round of years and call you out by name. Oh boy. Did she even delete these posts? It looks like she probably deleted a lot of them. Oh, the harassment is so botched. The bots haven't tried contacting me. Oh, I'm being harassed. Of course. Don't let bigots say this is it. Moral. Convince you that civility is the moral and ethical high ground, and that makes you more credible. If folks are spitting Western preservation, traditionalism, throw rocks at them. They're neo-Nazis, don't tolerate intolerance. I love how people that say this, there's never going to be the instance where they're going to have to, like, It's like, it's so easy for a person like this to say that, when I guarantee you, if somebody starts throwing rocks at you, you're going to call the police. You're not going to throw rocks back at them. Yeah, it's not even a question. I talk like bots. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. They're never wrong. Communist sympathizer is also hella common for people's co-op's vocabulary incorrectly to discredit it. Civil rights, worried about losing the American dream. Oh my God. Let me look at a few more of these. Don't let folks try to convince you that historical and cultural accuracy has no place in fiction or fantasy. No, it's the opposite. Fiction can be as grounded in reality or as detached as you want it. But this is insane. That's the point. Yeah, obviously. After nobody gives a fuck about your fantasy land, no, don't be mad. Yeah, he's trying to play both sides. I know. It's unbelievable where these people come from, man. Oh my God. Wow. The cope is insane. What is all these posts? Man. And I had 500,000 views. Oh, man. The amount of muscle... The crazy thing about this was the gym thing. Like, where did the... Like, what did Gym Bros do? What did Gym Bros do to make her so upset? I don't even get it. Yeah, pot of greed? I guess so. I'll be right back.